This semester, we had the opportunity to research within a subject topic and a question we were somewhat drawn to. So my research question was, how will the rapid adaptation of working remotely have an impact on the future of work? I'm sure we are familiar with it by now, coronavirus, more technically COVID-19, has changed our everyday lives drastically. At the beginning of this project, a large number of people were forced into working remotely almost immediately. As I began to think about something significant in today's time, this was all that could come to mind. A world shock that has impacted everyone in some way, especially the workforce. It seemed significant to research the impacts on the future of work, as technology had been a key ingredient in enabling most businesses to ultimately survive during this pandemic. I used both secondary and primary researchers in the findings, and in the primary research being a 10-question survey. To abide by UOW standards, this survey was only responded to by UOW BCM312 students. Secondary research stemmed from two main academic sources found using the UOW library. The first was a study through Airtasker that surveyed 1,004 full-time employees, 505 of which worked remotely in the US. The results showed that the remote workers were more productive than their office-based equivalents. Some of the statistics that should be noted are that the survey found remote employees worked an additional 1.5 days per month than in-office employees, which worked out to be nearly an additional 17 workdays a year. The second was an academic source that outlined some strong advantages to working from home, like the financial advantages including saving on expenses like transportation and petrol, work attire and food, with other benefits like being able to dress comfortably and saving time without having to transport to work. This led to the ability to have more time in pursuing activities like fitness, preparing food and other tasks, therefore improving the overall quality of life for the individual. As you can see, those academic sources highlighted more so a version of advantages rather than disadvantages. I used the primary research, the survey, to discover what UOW students believed to be both advantages, but more so had the objective to discover a range of disadvantages that I found the project was lacking. Here's what I found. The advantages were highlighted to be less travel, work when you want, ability to connect with people whenever you want, able to work from a comfortable environment, could reduce the rate of workplace abuse and the potential to have a better mental health. The disadvantages, however, highlighted the distractions at home, less motivation, loss of focus, time management, lack of personal interactions with clients and co-worker relationships, and the office experience. It should be noted that after students were asked to state one advantage and one disadvantage, they were also asked what they see more of, in which majority see an equal amount of both disadvantages and advantages to working from home. To now focus on my other primary findings from the survey, which only had 7 responses. I did hope I would gather more survey responses, as I did post it to Moodle on May 22nd, however the data gathered remains still interesting. The 3 most interesting findings from the survey are as followed. The first finding showed the results from the responders when asked about if working remote would impact the work-life balance. 71.4% answered yes to. This finding indicates that a greater number of responders potentially lose an equal or healthy balance between work roles and responsibilities and desire in lifestyle. Leads me to my second finding that strongly suggests most responders would prefer to work in an office space rather than a home work environment. From the disadvantages mentioned previously, this could be because of the loss between co-worker relationships, less drive or focus working from home, which leads to the preference of working in an office over working from home. The final thing I wanted to touch on was in regards to encouraging students to think about potential future work careers and if they would still be motivated in a job role without the traditional workspace and being surrounded by co-workers. 57.1%, 4 out of the 7, responded no, highlighting that they might potentially be less motivated in that type of space. To summarise these key findings, the first found an impact on the work-life balance, the second found the preference of working in an office space, and the third found a loss of motivation if working from home when encouraged to consider the future work and careers. To conclude, I found the use of both primary and secondary sources insightful. They both highlighted similarities and differences when compared. This topic and research question is both relevant for UOW students and those currently working remotely or have the potential to be in the future of work. As the workforce this year worldwide has experienced the new adaptation of working remotely due to COVID-19, it should be safe to say that if employees and employers grow to like the change, then they may continue to operate in this way. However, the primary evidence found an equal amount that was seen in the advantages and disadvantages when working remotely. However, from this report, I believe that it depends on both the job role and employee preference that should be considered. Thank you.